welcome once again to Auto Mondial, the weekly home of all the latest motoring news and reviews. This week it's a special occasion as Audi celebrates 60 years of cult classics.
We've also got a one-off liveried Ferrari bound for auction, all in the name of charity.
Plus, Lexus comes out guns blazing in its latest attempt on the German executive saloon. But is the ES enough to contend with the likes of the 5 Series?
That's all coming up. First though, the news.
With sales quotas nowhere near the UK government's desired 28% set out for 2025 by the ZEV mandate, a new grant has come into force with the aim of incentivising consumers to go out and purchase a new electric vehicle. In short, any battery electric car costing £37,000 or less is eligible to a discount of up to £3,750. But as ever, things aren't so simple, and so whether or not your wishlist model qualifies for the full grant comes down to as yet unexplained factors concerning sustainability. Based on that criteria, zero-emission models will get either the aforementioned £3,750 or a smaller £1,500 cut. Though the scheme has already commenced, manufacturers and industry experts are just as unsure as to which cars qualify as consumers, but we'll make sure to keep you informed as the weeks go on.
The Four Rings, a simple automotive symbol that has seemingly sat afront German automobiles for as long as many will remember. Well, actually, the logo nor the Audi name have existed particularly long, as this year the German manufacturer is celebrating 60 years since the nameplate first debuted in its current form at the Frankfurt Motor Show in 1965. Before then, the outfit known as Auto Union was an independent shell of its pre-war self, requiring the help of the already massive Volkswagen Group and Daimler-Benz, plus a rebranding before growing into the powerhouse it is today. Through the years, Audi has created a plethora of fantastic models of different shapes, sizes, speeds and budgets. Nowadays, the Audi badge sits proudly on the grille of many a blaring estate, hiding a fire-breathing engine within an understated body. The original Audi RS4 Avant is one such model that sticks particularly firmly in the mind, with its Cosworth-tuned 2.7-litre twin-turbo V6 good for 375 brake horsepower. Supercar rivaling performance in a shell suitable for the daily dog walk, the B5 RS4 was one of the first models to pave the way for Audi's history of sports cars hidden in plain sight, something the marque is still doing today with the likes of the RS6. More powerful, visually more demonstrative and losing the plush barge atmosphere of the past, the new age RS6 may not carry over the ethos of its ancestor, but it certainly extends the RS4's spirit. Audi isn't all about comfy but capable family cars turned athletic arsons, however, as the manufacturer has a brilliant history of sports coupes. A history crucial to the development of a modern performance car.
The UR Quattro was a road-ready derivative of the infamous Group B rally car. Getting all the wedge-shaped proportions of its muse softened for road-going requirements, the UR Quattro was the poster car of a generation of rally fans. The Quattro name now sits aboard pretty much every Audi on sale, having helped the manufacturer to develop its cutting-edge all-wheel drive system, and that's why top examples usually fetch upwards of £50,000 on the used car market. If you're looking for something of Quattro heritage but don't quite have the sort of money-sized hole in your pocket, the Audi TT was a revolutionary sports coupe for the masses, combining cutesy looks with commendable performance, the whole thing kept in check by an all-wheel drive Quattro powertrain, taking learnings from the road homologation rally car of the 1980s. Under the bonnet of most Mark 1 TT sits a modest 1.8-litre four-cylinder, sending either 180 or 225 brake horsepower through a front-bias all-wheel drive system. An early adopter of the semi-automatic gearbox, you can get these in either DSG or 6-speed manual form. In either case, the bubble-shaped 2000s coupe provides plenty of performance aboard a fun-loving tight chassis that will slap a smile on your face, all while sticking to speeds that will not shred your driver's license. But should you want a little more oomph, perhaps for the odd track day, the Audi R8 has long been Audi's halo supercar, taking the TT formula and turning everything up to 11. Since its initial launch in 2007, two generations of Audi R8 have hit dealership forecourts, both quattro-assisted, both stunning mid-engine designs and both blasting happy V10 noises. Perhaps the most impressive and certainly the most performance Audi has ever extracted from four wheels and an engine, the R8 will soon become the Four Rings legacy as it ends production and the manufacturer makes its gradual step towards electric supercars. In such a short space of time, Audi has gone from an unknown car maker shipping a few hundred saloons to a powerhouse of the German economy. So if anyone can make a success out of the changing environment from combustion to batteries, surely it's Audi.
The German motoring industry is one of the strongest in the world, especially when it comes to the executive saloon class. One of our favourite German executives in 2025 is the BMW 5 Series, a spacious yet usable four-door with good interior space and a wide selection of powertrains, ranging from eco-friendly electrics to fire-breathing combustion models. At the entry point, the 520i is a pure combustion model, good for 208 brake horsepower. The 530e sits alongside the more powerful 550e as a pair of plug-in hybrids providing 63 and 55 miles of electric-only range respectively. On the silent side of things, a pair of electrics offer up to 350 miles on a charge, with the eDrive 40 pumping 340 brake horsepower to the roads, whilst the M60 600 bhp does feel over the top. Visually, there have certainly been prettier BMW 5 Series, but with a sharp front end, inoffensive side profile and modern tail end, this new car does fit into its era of aggressive designs. Inside, it's all very airy for the most part, with large windows letting in lots of light, making the cabin appear larger than it truly is. A simplistic dashboard does away with buttons, instead hiding pretty much every functionality within the 14.9-inch central display. That and its associated 12.3-inch driver display both run on BMW's own operating system that also thankfully runs phone connectivity software. A model focused on the driver, the 5 Series doesn't offer much in the way of rear passenger space, but there is room for a family of 4 aboard the executive Beamer. Available from £51,000 in combustion form and £68,000 as an EV, the BMW 5 Series has plenty of Germanic competition today. But if you do not fancy anything from the land of the Autobahn, or Europe at all for that matter, there may well be a new kid on the block.
This is the all-new Lexus ES, and much like the BMW, it is a full-size executive saloon available in either electric or hybrid form. But unlike its German counterpart, this particular model makes the most of American luxury and Japanese engineering for something a little different. A taller shape, blending the saloon body with an almost SUV stance, featuring very few key design details of note, apart from a rather fetching slim light bar along the rear end, we wouldn't say the new ES is a work of art. but it's far from an ugly automobile either. Jumper board and that bulbous roof makes for a good amount of headroom for both rows of seats. Up front, the dashboard is as featureless as the exterior if it wasn't for a 14-inch tablet. A Lexus-specific app allows you to connect your screen to your phone, displaying speed and ULEZ camera locations according to the manufacturer. Where the BMW is all about wrapping the driver in a sporty environment, the Lexus gets a far more selfless approach to the point of making the rear seats a nicer place to be than the front. Curved front seats give space for your legs, nice headrests give a premium feel, and an extra dollop of wheelbase is enough for a comfier rear passenger experience. As we said, the bonnet can either hide a hybridized engine or an EV battery pack. In combustion form, a 2.5-litre four-cylinder pumps out either 201 or 247 brake horsepower. Electric models get either a 75 or 77 kilowatt-hour battery, the former powering a single front-mounted 224 brake horsepower motor, whilst the latter gets a pair of motors for 343 all-wheel drive ponies. Coming to the UK early next year, the Lexus ES does not currently have a price tag. However, the outgoing model was available from £44,000, representing a good cut less than the BMW. Stay tuned to Auto Mondial in the months to come when we find out whether ES's price does eventually land.
After the break, Toyota refreshes its cutesy AYGO X with a new face and sophisticated running gear. But will it remain the diminutive charmer it always was? Welcome back. Coming up, the stunner that is the Ferrari Daytona SP3 has one last trick up its sleeve.
A diminutive hatchback with an uplifted stance better suited to the UK's SUV abundant, we have typically liked the Toyota AYGO X for both its rugged looks and usable dimensions. However, all good things come to an end, and Toyota will be hoping that this particular good thing is replaced by an even better one, as the AYGO X has just been revealed in an all-new and refreshed form. What you're looking at here is the new crossover in GR Sport trim, Toyota's butchest denomination. Whilst its sharper angles and road-hugging lower lip will not make their way to every edition, it does provide a sense of what the model will look like as a whole. The almost kitsch bulbous headlights have been replaced by a set of sleeker units in what is very much a lifted face. In fact, except the trendy two-tone paint design, you'd be hard-pressed to notice any difference from the side or rear versus the old car. Under its refreshed body, the AYGO X drops its current and outdated single-litre petrol banger and replaces it with the same full hybrid that powers the Yaris. In other words, the 43 brake horsepower increase will have the entry-level Japanese Econobox springing with joy to 114 bhp from a 1.5-litre three-cylinder engine. Electric motors on the transmission assist fuel economy so much that the Toyota claims the new AYGO X to be the lowest CO2 emitter of any non-plug-in hybrid. We shall see if that is truly the case once it's allowed out of Toyota's own hands. Speaking of it leaving the factory, the AYGO X in facelifted form will make its full UK debut towards the end of this year. Toyota is yet to announce pricing for its new model, but we would expect it to remain around the outgoing car's £17,000 entry price.
Throughout the first half of the year, the Ford Puma has stood tall as the best-selling car each month here in the UK. But hot on its heels, shipping just 3,000 fewer units so far in 2025 is this, the Kia Sportage, an equally popular family crossover. But now the South Korean model is launching in refreshed form, and so the tides could yet change in the race for the best-selling car of 2025. With a transformed front end, the new Sportage now looks much more similar to its larger sibling, the Sorento. Meanwhile, more sculpted door panels reflect the almost floral taillights for a curvy overall design. Not only does the Kia get a tall roof, it is also long in the wheelbase department, translating to good legroom for both rows of seats and a significantly larger boot than most rivals. Space is accompanied by tech aboard the Kia, with a pair of 12.9-inch screens fronting a whole host of phone connectivity systems and driving assists. Though we are sad to see that buttons are still an overlooked detail on the Sportage's centre console that retains fiddly haptic feedback controls for aircon features. The brand new Kia Sportage can come with one of 3 power units ranging from ye olde internal combustion all the way up to plug-in hybrid tech. All 3 models are set to be based on the same 1.6-litre turbocharged petrol engine, with a standalone model achieving around 147 brake horsepower. Opt for the mid-range hybrid, and that 4-cylinder gets assistance from a 64-kilowatt motor powered by a 1.5 kilowatt-hour battery. Small but mighty it seems, as that little pack boosts power to 235. As for the plug-in hybrid, Kia is set to introduce the range topper later this year, though word on the street is that it will retain the same 13.8 kilowatt-hour battery that provided the outgoing model with its 43 miles of EV-only range. Now available to order, the Kia Sportage hits markets from a little under £31,000, with its hybrid starting from $34,500.
Well, first of all, with its sloped, almost fastback roofline as well as a shorter wheelbase, the Ford does lack space inside versus its South Korean competitor, especially for those in the back. For its cheaper price, the Ford does lack some of its standard features of the Kia, like electric seats and automatic air conditioning, but we wouldn't say this warrants the £5,000 chasm, especially when a fully tricked out Puma is available from $35,000. For that, you get the ST trim level sporting the most powerful version of the 1-litre mild hybrid EcoBoost engine, pumping out 170 brake horsepower. That same unit is also available in 155 and 125 bhp form. Whilst the Kia Sportage is a nicer overall package in our opinion, we can understand why the Ford Puma is the best-selling car in the UK, given its far cheaper entry price.
.840 brake horsepower coming from a singing 6.5-litre V12, unique styling reflecting some of the best races in prancing horse history, and a limited production number satisfying the wealthiest of collectors. It's fair to say that the Ferrari Daytona SP3 is a special bit of kit. But it seems it isn't quite special enough, as Ferrari has put together one last SP3 model, decking it out with all the fancy options of the Italian manufacturer's tailor-made program. A one-off example built beyond the original 599 units, this model's plaque will read 599 plus 1 to show it sets itself apart from the rest. Also helping it stand out from the herd is this unique car's bold specification, sporting a half and half blend of yellow and black paint. Ferrari separates the hues for a look that will certainly catch the eye. Inside, those same colours decorate the bare-bones cabin of what is an homage to one of Ferrari's best race cars. You may be wondering why Ferrari has decided to unveil this creation and disappoint its best customers by adding another SP3 to the world, further diluting the market. However, The Italian marque has made a habit of these one-off showcases in recent years, all in a bid to collect funds for its charity, the Ferrari Foundation. In fact, the stunner-turned eyesore will go under the hammer at auction this year, with all proceeds going to charity in support of children's education. Certainly an admirable cause, this high-profile one-of-one model started out life as a charitable act. But without equivalent anywhere else in the world, we can assure you that no matter how much this beauty sells for at auction, it will be on sale in a dealership near you for several times the price in years to come, with the same mileage figure on the clock. An unused investment making the rich richer, that is the sad truth about high-end automobile collections.
Next time on Auto Mondial, the Jeep Wagoneer graduates from training camp to become a super secret special agent for the FBI.